We're working.
Action.
Thank you. I call this council meeting back to order. So getting back to where I was, the announcement concerning the January 26th study session concerning the marine development. The meeting will be held in council chambers here. Council chambers can hold a large number of people where all can see the screens. Using council chambers allows us to live stream the meetings from the links from the website and Channel 21. Using council chambers allows us to live stream presentations, otherwise they would be available in the packets after the fact. We have additional space for attendees if needed, using 2 other conference rooms with TVs for live streaming. Using council chambers, we have quality audio visual recording for future playbacks, and ensuring the recording future viewers is for future viewers is imperative. This is also a study session consideration. I just want to talk about the format of the meeting. It'll be the presentation by staff, it'll be council questions, public comment, council discussion, and then the meeting will adjourn. Obviously, it'll probably take some time, but that's kind of the layout. In addition, before we take public comment, I wanted to reach out to council. Since we've had our last meeting, the road crews and marina staff have done really great work, particularly in the recent snow, the extreme colds, the King Tides events. And previous year, we'd agreed on the Hearts and Minds Fund to reward them for all that hard work. We were gonna do a barbecue for $500. Unfortunately, they could never facilitate that. So it was recommended to me that we do gift cards for meals, so all these individuals can get it. And what I'm recommending is that we, with a motion, a second, and vote, that we would do up to $1,000 to thank our employees that were there in those times of need, and they would get a gift card, and staff would take care of that for us. So do I have a motion?
I motion.
Okay, and a second by Councilmember Steinmetz. Any discussion before? None? Do you? Mayor Buxton?
I am so wholeheartedly thankful for them. I put out, even messages and photos on Facebook. I am so thankful for our public works staff and their foresight and getting out ahead of the weather. So, yeah, kudos. Thank you.
Anything else before I take a vote? All those in favor? Motion passes 7-0. And please pass on City Manager Mathias our eternal thanks for that effort.
Mayor, if I may.
You may.
In addition to the amazing work that our public works crews do, it involves a citywide effort, and it involves emergency management. Shannon's involved with that. The first responders are involved with that. We work closely with the fire district on issues relative to roads and passages and so forth. Some of the external agencies we work with, Recology and others, in order that they have access to what they need to do. So it's really a team effort, and we really appreciate the acknowledgement for our guys who are out there at 3 in the morning taking care of the roads for the safety of everyone. Thank you.
We do as well. Are there any correspondence?
There are no other correspondence outside the emails already received by council, and they'll be in the packet tomorrow.
All right, thank you. It's now time for comments from the public. I would like to remind those participants that any person making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks become boisterous, threatening, or personally abusive while addressing the council will be removed from the meeting. And you will have 3 minutes to speak, and we will start with Miss Susan Jacobs-Hibbins.
Thank you. I moved to Des Moines over 7 years ago. I've walked my dog down the marina, and I've met many Des Moines residents in that time. Most of these people are shocked to hear the prospect of such change coming to their serene open space. They're here to enjoy the quiet, enjoy the occasional sightings of herons, geese, seals, and eagles, and breathtaking sunsets. With the onset of a hotel comes traffic down Cliff Avenue with delivery trucks, food trucks, linen trucks, supply trucks, beer trucks, Ubers, taxis, limos, and more. Unbelievable noise. Our love of the farmers market may also find it inconvenient. There will either be no parking or parking all over the city. There will be those who can't walk to your new garage, and those finding it too difficult to even attend. If this hotel is being built to cater to a theater crowd, presumed to attend the new theater alley, they will on some nights have a miserable walk to the marina in the rain, the wind, and the dark. Not too convenient for the elderly or handicapped folks either. A hotel closer to your new venue seems more feasible. I see 3 vacant lots in the business district that seem more convenient. I request you reconsider the hotel's location. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Mr. Rick Johnson.
Good evening. Rick Johnson, Redondo Beach. I was talking with Scott about these derelict boats that are just north of Saltwater State Park. Can't we do something to get those out of there? It just looks like a dumping yard. And I know a number of people that I've talked with at Woodmont are tired of seeing them too when they take their walks. But it's just, something has to be done about it. We're going into the 3rd year of this. And much longer do we have to live like that? I don't think those boats have landed anywhere else on the shoreline in Des Moines that we'd have this problem. So I just would complain about it again, bring it up again so it doesn't go away. I know it's hard to see it. If you don't see it, you can't be bothered by it, I guess. And and the last thing I have is the Redondo, in the Redondo on 6th, where Soundview Drive, south of 287th, going south and all the way up around the hill, there's potholes. If we have some citizens down there who would like to see about getting those potholes filled. We got tanker trucks almost daily that come up and down that road. And if we can get somebody from the road department to come down, take a look, I know they can patch them up or something, but we've had other areas in Redondo where we've had the potholes filled. So if we can get someone down there to take a look and see if we can clean them up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Moving on to Mr. Michael Rhodes.
Takes me a while to get up there. Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and Council. I'm Michael Rhodes, and I'm a resident of Des Moines. First, let me say that I appreciate the city's effort and success in achieving financial stability and the leadership through the pandemic challenge. Thank you. My comments deal with marina development and the boutique hotel proposal. I am concerned about the competing interest with the general development approach. With the exception of the theater, it appears to me that the city has had less than great success with economic development in the downtown area over recent years. It seems now that the city is trying to prime the economic development pump by making a great deal with a selected developer on city-owned land on the marina floor. This creates a competition between city-owned public land in the marina versus privately owned land in the downtown area, a mere 2 blocks away. So why would the city create and join in a competition against private enterprise, property owners and investors, for commercial business? The results are the city's selected commercial developer gets a great deal. The private property holders and investors in the downtown corridor are eliminated from the opportunity, and the residents lose their best public open space in the whole city. This seems unfair for everyone except the city-selected developer and business, and to me, it makes no sense. The city should focus on downtown development with a free marketplace and competition in play. You should also find a way to structure a competition for a boutique hotel project in the Des Moines downtown corridor. a great opportunity for the city's dedicated development leader. With your last proposal for placement of the hotel in the middle of the north parking area, I feel the council has lost interest in preserving open space for the benefit of our current and future residents. It is now all about Avenue. Thank you for the opportunity to provide my thoughts and remarks, and I ask you to please adjust your planning.
Thank you, Mr. Rhodes. Moving on to Mr. Bill Linscott.
Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council, City Manager, and everybody else joining tonight. I want to provide some comments as a resident and dealing with marina development also. I'd like to talk about kind of right-sizing that development for the size of the marina, actually. I think our marina is much like our city. You know, it's uniquely located, but it's a small footprint. We got boundaries and borders all around us. It's all filled in. So we have kind of a common challenge, which is how to best use the remaining available space. And many of those decisions are going to be kind of forever decisions. Especially, I think it's the decisions we're going to see, quite a few of them this year. For the marina, the real area of the footprint expansion, it's hard to find. The only available unused space is, of course, the parcel A, with the adjacent marina steps. Other than that, the decisions will either consume public open space or parking for that's only what's left. When you look at the long list of desired features, we got a lot of them. We got marina steps, boutique hotel, reflective pond and creek, farmer's market, passenger ferry terminal or location, marina staff offices and storage areas, pavilion area, parking garage, adaptive purpose building, small boat launch near the water, full service boat yard, fuel storage deck, SR3 facility expansion, new marina tenant restrooms, and then we'll salt and pepper restaurants and other retail in there. That's a big list. Some of these are boating infrastructure. Several of them exist today and will continue tomorrow. Others introduce new or expanded features and structures that may or may not kind of fit the public benefit piece. There's no information at the moment that's available out there for the public to understand how those decisions are going to be made to shorten that list up to something that fits. There's not a citizen advisory committee of any kind engaged. I'm not even sure which city council committee will make the final recommendations to the full council on which ones you choose. And there's a great interest, public interest, in that process and a desire to update their preferences after several years, you know. Things change. We ask that you consider establishing a criteria for the process, obtaining an opportunity to update the public preferences, present a vision that the residents can actually understand the end state, and create a new marina committee that is focused on that. And I think you ought to reestablish some sort of citizen advisory group. I think we're trying to put, 10 pounds in a 5-pound bag. When you do that, there's a great risk for a blivet. And blivet's that part you really like to keep, but you can't fit in. And we don't want to look at blivets in the marina. Thank you very much for the comments.
Thank you, Mr. Linscott. Moving on to Ms. Kay Van.
Hello, good evening. Got 3 topics to talk about. Naked guy, shooting, and I want to thank the chief after. First, earlier this week, I was walking my dog. Oh, I'm from Redondo Beach. Walking my dog on my way back. This guy running out of the water, not fully naked, totally naked. Wow, I've heard twice about this since I've been in the area, and I've actually seen it with my own eyes. Luckily, there's no kids there. There was a whole bunch of adults, veterans they had this event where they had they take the veterans out for kayaking. There was a whole bunch of them out there. They were on the way back. Nice scene for that day. Second one is shooting. I'm getting emotional right now because I was close to that shooting. On December 13th, around 7:15 in the evening, I was walking my dog. I'm the one that walked my dog with the shoes on until his shoes came off. I bent down to fix his shoes. I heard a guy's voice screamed. And next thing I know, there's 3 shots. Literally, I don't know, I'm not good with distance. 281st, when you come down right before you turn left into Redondo Drive. I was right there, and the shooting happened right before you turn. At that time, I don't know what I was supposed to do. People say, you don't realize it until it hits home or close to home. It hit home to me. I was so traumatized to this day when I go walk my dog. I'm afraid. I just turned 54 today, my birthday, and I am so glad that I'm still here. This is very emotional because I could have been in the crossfire of those bullets. I don't know if I was supposed to jump over the seawall, and that's at the end, at the north end. That's at least 6 to 7 foot high seawall. For darn sure that I'm not gonna leave my dog there and jump over. It would have been me and him. I decided to stay down. At that point, I didn't know what to do. It took me to calm myself down. It took me 5 minutes before I called the police. And at this point, I want to thank the chief and his team. They were there within 5 minutes of my call. And they found, on my way back, I was talking to several of the police officers. They found 2 casing at the time when I was on my way home. This hit home, and I'm afraid. I shouldn't be afraid to go outside and walk my dog. So something needs to happen for our safety, for our resident that lives there. We pay our taxes, we own those homes, and we can't just pick up and leave. And we don't want to leave. We love living there. I've been there going to 2 years, and that's going to be my home until the day I leave this earth. So I'm asking the city to help to do something to make sure that we are safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Van. Moving on to Ms. Jennifer Kropak.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Honorable Mayor, Council Members, City Manager, and the Des Moines residents. My name is Jennifer Kropak. I live on 6th Avenue South, and I walk the marina almost every day. It's a gem and a treasure for the public good. And I represent a whole herd of people who don't want to share this with a private developer on the site that you're considering now. I've worked for state government for over 30 years, and I understand balancing several important factors, so I want you to consider these things. 1, with heat domes in our future, we need open public spaces that provide cooling. This area already exists for this purpose, and there's many, many people who use it for that purpose. It's 10 degrees cooler down here than up on 99. Secondly, the Outlook Park extension, the Outlook 2 Park extension on the Van Gaskin property, that purchase was with Forterra's help and vision that I thought was shared by the city to add additional public seaside space and views, and to gain nature, bird corridors, and all those wonderful viewing pleasures we have in this total amazing city. And the key word there is additional, not subtract something, gain something here. It's an additional purchase at the time you made it. That's how I thought that purchase was made. Third, do you want to kill the coolest community thing Des Moines does, which is the farmer's market? I believe that putting the hotel where you're saying you want it is going to adversely impact parking and interest in the farmer's market. My idea may be off the wall, it may be a win-win, maybe somebody's already said it, but I don't know. I support a hotel site at the one-story boat units that are just south of the Marina office building. You can move these units in front of SR3. The seals don't need a view. Thank you for considering my comment. All the best as you figure this out. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kropak. Moving on, the next one, Becky, and it's in cursive, so I apologize, I can't see what the last name is. Reed? Okay, Becky Reed. Ma'am, if you could come up here.
Can everybody hear me?
Over there, ma'am.
I rushed out of my office to get here for the 6 o'clock meeting, and we didn't start till 6:52. And I recognize that you had private business that needed to be done, but it feels like you really ought to think about doing the private business at the end of the meeting so the rest of us can go home and pet the cats and cook dinner. So that's my first comment, which isn't regarding safety, but it would just feel much more accommodating to all of the people here who are spending their evening to talk with you. I came here to talk about the boardwalk. We've talked about the boardwalk before in these meetings, and I recognize it takes time to do these things, but it's dangerous down there. You know, people are walking their dog. People are worried about the traffic and the violence that's associated with the attraction that the boardwalk brings. And we've got really good solutions. Declare the marina area as a local park, put in the speed signs, ticket people, make money off of it, put in the parking so that they can't gather in our public parking lots, and make some money on that too. Maybe for the residents, you give them a voucher that lets them park there 6 times a year or whatever. I mean, we can come up with solutions that allow the residents to use our space without allowing those who don't pay taxes here, who don't live here, to take advantage of our public space. Public space is really important, and we need to protect it from people who are not very respectful. So I think for a safety reason, we can afford to figure out a way to protect our open space, to protect our boardwalk, allow people to use it without feeling like they take their lives in their hands. And I live between Pacific Highway and the boardwalk, and I gotta tell you, walking down that street is scary. And I wouldn't do it at night. There's no way I would go out walking that street at night. I don't know what's out there, but I do know that the cars are out there are driving too fast and they don't see you, no matter what you're wearing. And finally, I think that Des Moines is a great place. That we have a lot of wonderful things. We also have a lousy reputation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. And